My dad practically gave me up to his sister when I, 27 male, was born. My mom died when she was giving birth to me, and my aunt told me he never recovered from that because he blamed me for her death. It hurt a lot as a kid that, at family events, he would ignore my existence. Then when I was a little older, he got more vocal about me killing her and that he can't stand to look at my face. You can imagine the amount of therapy that put me in. I used to go to church crying because I was scared about going to the bad place for doing that to my mom. That's how much his words messed me up. But the bad part was that I never stopped trying to be accepted by him. After my high school graduation, he told me never to bother him again, since he legally had no obligation to me anymore, since he was sending my aunt money to take care of me. Around that time is when I finally started accepting that reality. So from there, we moved on with our lives. My aunt doesn't talk to me about him. Sometimes my grandparents do, and that's how I found out he got married. They were mad he didn't invite me to their wedding, but to me it didn't matter because we're not close. But it was his wife who wanted to meet me. It's the first time ever that he wants to make contact, and it was to say she wants me in their life. She doesn't know the real reason why we're estranged, so he asked me to please not say anything, and maybe this could be a way to reconcile after all. But he was only doing it for her. That much was clear when we talked. I never said I would, but he still insisted on our meeting at their place because she wanted to meet me. She thinks we were estranged for not getting along in my teenage years, going to college and losing touch because of life stuff. It made me angry that he played it off as us just not talking for petty reasons. Meanwhile, the actual reason damaged me for years. I told her the truth, everything he said to me, that he was never a parent to me. That was all my aunt. It was definitely a shock for her. The outcome was a disaster. Everyone has heard about this now. My grandma in particular told me she understood my anger, but this was his choice to find someone since losing my mom, and now it's been put in jeopardy. My dad is devastated. They think it was going too far to ruin his marriage when he was willing to include me in their lives, which could have been the start of our relationship. And they say not only did I ruin that, but also possibly wrecked his marriage. She doesn't agree with what he did, and it could have been avoided if I hadn't said anything. It was hard not to tell the truth after the lies made it seem like it was nothing serious, but I couldn't ignore what happened after what I did. I don't know if it was the right call since it put their whole marriage at risk after all. Dude, not the idiot. Your dad is a grade A double cheese idiot from hell with a special topping of idiot served with idiot sauce. He deserves every bit of what happened to his second marriage because he presented himself as a different person than he is. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I wish you strength and may you find more people who love you unconditionally. Idiot karma. If the truth ruined his marriage, that's on him. He should have gone to therapy after your mom died. He instead treated you like crap your whole life for something that could have never been your fault. Now he's facing the consequences beyond estrangement. Everyone should be angry at his hiding the truth, but idiots always prefer to shoot the messenger. If he truly wanted to have a closer relationship rather than just giving in to his wife's wants, he needed to apologize and make amends. You were not responsible for your mother's death, and you were not responsible for your father's behavior. The fact that she married a man who treated his own son so cruelly is upsetting to her, and it should be. He isn't sorry for what he did, but only for how it's hurting him now. Update. Am I the idiot for revealing to my dad's wife the real reason why he and I were never close? Words can't express how much it meant to me to get so much love from my last post. Everyone who supported not just my actions, but also acknowledged the hurt. Since so many people wanted an update, here it is. It's a little heavy, and for a couple of days, I needed some time to process it and do some crying. They're splitting up. I heard it first from my grandma, then from his wife or ex. She was legit crying on the phone when she called to apologize for putting me in that position. She and my dad had a long conversation where he told her everything else he did. So she decided she couldn't stay with someone like him, and she wanted me to know how disgusted she was. Also to tell me thanks, which is something I really needed to hear. My dad is who he is, but regardless, two people splitting their marriage because of what you said is hard not to feel guilty about. This lady is heartbroken, going through a divorce just a few months after getting married, and she wanted to take the time to reassure someone else that they made the right choice. Unexpectedly, though, my dad wanted us to talk yesterday too. My girlfriend again didn't want me to. Trust me, I get her point. She's the one who didn't want me having dinner with them in the first place. For one thing, we don't know what he wanted to talk about and what that would do to my mental health. It was probably a bad risk to take, but I met with him. And yeah, I should listen to my girlfriend more when it comes to this stuff. First time in my life, I think we had a conversation about my mom, how much he loved her, them being happy and excited about having a family. But then she died, and he told me that even if it was wrong, he would always blame me because she'd still be here if I hadn't been born. So he's only sorry for not completely staying away from me and saying horrible things growing up. Well, he wasn't saying this to be malicious, since he seemed sincere. It was still an ouch for me. We decided to have a relationship with each other was never going to happen, and we said goodbye. He at least apologized for trying to put me in that position. The first good thing he ever did was tell me what happened with his wife wasn't my fault. Then I just went home and cried. I had my day to process, a short therapy session, and support from both my aunt and girlfriend to get me through. The rest of my family is leaving me alone, at least so glad that in the end, it was resolved. Not a totally happy ending, but it's better this way in the end. OP, your father still has a lot of growing up to do, because based on his flawed logic, it's all his fault for getting her pregnant. But that's beside the point. I hope life gets better from now on, and it's great that you have your aunt and girlfriend support. I hope you can heal from all the damage he's done to you. Yeah, and I love how he conveniently forgets OP had no part in the choice to have her risk pregnancy. That was him. He got his late wife pregnant. He decided to take the risk of having her go through pregnancy, despite the fact that it's very well known that pregnancy is extremely risky, the riskiest thing to a woman's life for most of human history. He decided with his wife to put her through that risk, not OP. God, this man disgusts me. They aren't splitting because of what you said, but because of what he did. She's heartbroken because the person she thought she loved doesn't exist, but was a facade made up by your dad. Honestly, given how genuinely terrible your dad seems, you've given this woman a gift by showing her now while she can get out easily. How could she have kids with a man who was okay treating his kids like that? Exactly what I was thinking reading this. The ex-wife probably wants kids, and no good mom will want a parent with someone who can just casually traumatize their child with no regrets. OP really did do her a favor. You gave that woman the best possible gift she could ever have: honesty. I have always promised my daughter that she can finally travel alone after her final exam results and take a holiday with her friends before uni. My daughter and her friends have been planning it for a while, and the other girls' parents and I are funding the trip and are all excited for them to finally travel on their own. They've planned it to be a week long. But I just found out that my sister will be having her first child, my nephew, and has invited me to spend the week with her, her partner, and the baby. And it's the same week my daughter will be away. And I desperately want to be with my sister and spend time with the newborn, but it would mean traveling across the country for a week. Where my sister lives is further into the countryside and often has dodgy reception, so chances are I wouldn't be receiving many calls there. I feel pretty uncomfortable with my daughter being away when I'm not home, because what if she had an emergency and needed me to come to get her? I probably wouldn't get her calls, and if I did, I wouldn't be in the right position to plan something for her. Obviously, the ideal situation was for me to be at home, so I could be easily accessible to her. Will I be a huge idiot if I withdraw my daughter from the trip? She's been looking forward to it for years, but my nephew will only be a newborn once, and my daughter has her whole life to travel. I'm very stressed out about this, but I am pretty sure of my decision to withdraw her. I just want to make sure I won't hurt her. You are the idiot. I don't understand why your trip prevents your daughter. You said yourself that you'll have bad reception anyway, so your daughter will just be home alone and miserable, and you still won't be able to contact her. It's called being a helicopter parent. You are the idiot, OP. Your child is traveling alone and is a young adult. Your presence at home is not needed. Just coordinate for your daughter to have a secondary emergency contact if she temporarily can't reach you. I'm assuming these are high school finals, like the kids are going to college, you really need not to be a helicopter parent and let your child go learn to be an adult. OP, do not take away a long promised trip. Instead, go see your daughter and nephew the following week. As a parent of a daughter older than yours, you would be building a resentment that will sit with her forever. Don't let your child down, no matter how you try to sell it. The bottom line is that you're not choosing your child. It's your sister's kid. It's not like a week will make a difference. For God's sake, let her have the baby alone for a week at least. We didn't invite anyone home the first week our son was here. You don't need to be anywhere else. You want to. So let your daughter have her trip. This is a good point. Is this your sister's first baby? Inviting someone immediately after birth is risky anyway. It's hard to have someone in your space when you're a penguin walking and have your boobs hanging out 24/7. This is ridiculous, OP. You're just making up excuses as to why she shouldn't go. Update. Thank you to the parents and children telling me she'll be hurt. I'm still uncomfortable not being home when she's away, so I think I'll just visit my sister another time. Like someone said, my nephew isn't going anywhere. I was putting him over my daughter. Thank you for helping me see this. So I, 23 female, am Native American. I do not look it. I have a white biological father, and my bio dad is not my sibling's father. My siblings, mom, grandparents, and the person I call my father are Native, and they look it. My skin color is rather pale because of my bio dad's genes, and for a long time, I was really self-conscious about it, with many people not believing my heritage or telling me to prove that I'm Native. As I've grown and gotten more in touch with my roots, I claim my heritage, and I know that genetics being weird are not indicative of my true self, that blood quantum is an outdated and stupid ideal, etc., and I speak openly about who I am, ignoring the haters. Recently, a man came into my work, who was obviously another Native man, and told me that I had beautiful features and looked like I had Native blood. I almost cried. It isn't often that someone looks past my skin color and notices my features, and it really made me feel validated. We talked about cultural stuff for a little bit while I rang up his items, and when he left, I couldn't stop smiling. Then I noticed my coworker looking super uncomfortable. I asked them what was wrong, and they said, well, it just makes me uncomfortable to hear about your supposed heritage. I asked them what they meant, and they said, there's no reason for you to talk about that stuff at work, and it makes me uncomfortable to hear about because I don't have anything like that to talk about, so it's unfair too. You get to pretend you're special, and it's annoying. You look white. Just accept it, and stop trying to be special all the time. I got really mad at them and said that just because they weren't connected to their roots didn't mean I couldn't be proud of mine, and that maybe they should look into their ancestors and see if they could find something cool. They might be Irish or Eastern European or Scandinavian or something, and those cultures have rich historical backgrounds, which they could learn about, and then they could have something to talk about too. They got really mad at me and said that I should stop talking about it, and they called me a jerk for acting like I was better than them. And I don't think I do act like I'm better. If they could connect with something and talk about their heritage, I would be so happy for them. Am I really the idiot? Not the idiot at all. I'm white, and white people are boring. Stop being different and interesting, and just be white and boring like me, so I don't feel bad. It's some weird mental gymnastics that this person's going through. Embrace your heritage and culture, and don't feel bad about your coworkers' monumental insecurities. You absolutely do not have to tone yourself down. So be you, always, whatever that may be. Your coworker could choose to look at their ancestry with happiness, instead of being as jealous as they seem of your beautiful history. I think you should open this up to your boss's management, because they've indeed been polite before. Still, now the bigot Pandora's box has been opened, and that insecurity that lives within them is going to be at the forefront of their behavior with you from now on, unless they somehow have a miraculous intervention. It would be best to talk about it with higher-ups now, in case something happens again. My dad married Mary when I was 3. Mary already had a son, Josh, who was 10 at the time. My mom passed away while giving birth to me, and Josh's dad also passed. I guess the two of us bonded over never really getting to meet one of our parents. I love Mary and Josh, They're my family. Josh and I have always been pretty close. When he got his driver's license, Josh took a bunch of his friends and me out to the movies. It's become a tradition between us now. So basically once a month, Josh, his best friend, and I go watch a movie. We had planned to go to the movies about a week ago. I was waiting for my Uber. He couldn't pick me up because of his work schedule, when I got a text from his phone canceling our plans. Okay, no biggie. About 30 minutes later, I got a call from Josh. He asked me where the heck I was, and I told him he had canceled. Apparently, he never texted me, but whatever. We'll plan the movie some other time. The next day, I got a call from a random number. I pick up and it's some girl cussing at me. She shouts at me for being a witch who sleeps with a taken man. I cut the call. She begins to text me a bunch of nasty things. I never responded and assumed it was a wrong number. Yesterday, I went to Josh's apartment to pick up a jacket I had left. I entered, and Josh was there with some of his friends. I said hi and went to get my jacket. This girl corners me in his bedroom and starts screeching at me for having the audacity to show up. I just walk away and she follows me and starts calling me names. At this point, everyone's very confused. It clicked, and I asked her if she had messaged me earlier. She said yes, so I take out my phone and read all her messages. Cue laughter from everyone. It was such a dumb ordeal. I reach home and Josh basically says that I was in the right, but reading the text was a little over the top, and that I embarrassed her for no reason. Some of his friends texted me and told me I reacted immaturely and was petty. I'm getting lots of crap to apologize now. I thought I didn't do anything too wrong, but I'm second-guessing my actions now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Why are any of them taking her side? The fact that she did that, Josh should have dumped her then and there. It didn't matter that she didn't realize he was your stepbrother. Also, if she was brave enough to send those text messages in the first place, she should be brave enough to hear them read back to her from the person she sent them to. Keyboard warrior at its finest, I think. You don't owe her an apology. She owes you one for using his phone, lying, calling you names, and making unfounded accusations. Your brother should be defending you. He should also be madder that she took his phone, sent texts from it, and instigated drama and hate towards you for no reason other than probably jealousy. By the way, his friends are wrong. How mature was she to do all of this in the first place? All you did was defend yourself by reading out the text she sent you. Stand your ground on this. Everyone, including your brother, is wrong in this. Here's the thing. People need to learn never to do anything that they would be embarrassed by if everyone found out about it. It's not a crime for people to know your true character. I get so sick of people thinking every bad thing they've done should be a secret that never gets exposed. This happened to you, and you have every right to talk about the crap you go through, even if it embarrasses someone else because they did you wrong.